everyone, my name's Annette and you may know me as Nettersplays, and today I'm going to go over my acquisitions and impressions for the month of September. So I grabbed a total of 5 games this past month, and out of those 5 I only played 4 of them. I almost played them all except for 1. So let me go over that game first and give you my thoughts and impressions. So my only unplayed game for September is Chimera Station. Now, if you're not familiar with Chimera Station, it's one of the latest Tasty Minstrel games that was actually a Kickstarter, and I backed it about last year. So I finally got the deluxeified version of it. And what it is a worker placement game, which I'm a big fan of. However, the thing is that it's a lot different than any other worker placement I have because it has these workers that you can modify. Now, the cool thing with these modified workers is that it's not just on cards or on paper, it's actually a piece that you can assemble. You can acquire and upgrade these different parts for your actual worker, and then the worker can become a little bit more valuable and can gain special abilities throughout the game. So not only is the game all about these modification on workers, but you can also gain points by acquiring different tiles and placing your workers on them. The tile set is huge, so every game is going to be different, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. But unfortunately, I just didn't get the game on the table, and I'm really looking forward to it because these workers are just super cool and awesome, and I really want to go ahead and play with them and take them apart and kind of mess around with my modifications for those workers. So the first game that I actually got to play is called Cosmic Run Rapid Fire. Now, it's a 1 or 2 player game designed by Steve Finn, and he is the king of filler games, which are games that last about 30 to 45 minutes. They're super easy to get to the table. Now, this is his take on a roll and write game, and so I wanted to check it out, and I backed it on Kickstarter, and it finally arrived. Now, this game I only managed to play it as a 2-player game, and it's really cutthroat because usually with roll and write games you're really focused on your own little player sheet and you're not really interacting with the other players too much, except for like the end of game score and seeing who got the most. Now, this is not the case with this game. You are checking to see who got the most points in the end, but throughout the game you're actually attacking each other's sheets. And that makes it a lot more interactive between players, and that's what I really liked about this game. And I like the fact that you can actually move your ships, and you're trying to move them onto these different planets, and then by doing so you can also upgrade them, and you can move them around on a little map and try to avoid asteroids and mines and such. So it's really interactive. I've been liking it a lot. And so you should definitely check out Cosmic Run if you're into roll and write games and you want something that's a little bit more interactive between 2 players. So another 2-player game that I also managed to play this past month is called Tokyo Highway. Now, Tokyo Highway I first heard of from Suzanne. Now, Suzanne, she is a Dice Tower contributor, and I saw her in Seattle and she had this game and I never heard of it before. I didn't manage to play it, but my interest kind of peaked then. So I've been on the search for this game, and it's been really hard to get. And she finally posted on Twitter that it was available in the BGG store, and I jumped right on it and I got it. So this game right here is a 2-player only game, and I would kind of describe it as a kind of a free-form abstract game with a little bit of dexterity involved. So the cool thing about this game is that it actually comes with tweezers, and you get to use the tweezers by either using them to place your roads or placing your little vehicles on the roads. Now, the thing with this game is that you can pretty much make it however way you want. You can move your pieces however way. You're only confined to the table itself. There is no board, it's just what you're playing on that you can actually work with. So that makes it really interesting in this game. It's not really a very common way of using abstract games. The only limits are the length of the actual roads, and also the number of little towers or the little round discs that you have. So you can only go so far. Now, I really enjoyed this game, But I was really confused at first because when I first opened the box, it was just a bunch of popsicle sticks. So I was like a little disappointed in the fact that I spent so much money for this game. However, once I started playing it and realizing that it's unlike any other game, well, I wanted to add that to my shelf because it's so different, and I was actually pleased in the end because it actually turned out to be really fun. We ended the game so far as just by just destroying everything, by accident of course. So you try to kind of make sure you go over or under other roads in order to place your little car on these roads. And the thing is that sometimes when you're trying to do that, you actually just kind of knock something over. And then when you try to fix it, you're actually knocking more stuff down. So towards the end of the game, it just becomes like a dexterity chaos. So definitely, if you're looking for something that's different, abstract, freeform-like, then you should check it out. However, I would be wary on just going full force and just investing so much into it because it does cost a little bit. So just be wary on that case. But otherwise, Tokyo Highway I really enjoyed. So the next game is a game that I actually played the most of this past month, and that is Kingdomino. Now, Kingdomino is a fairly light game. It actually won Game of the Year, and it is surprisingly simple. However, I really enjoyed it because I was able to introduce it to my family. My grandmother and her sister, my aunt, they both really enjoyed it, and it was surprising because they don't play that many games, especially these new ones, and they really got into it, and the whole week they were over, they just wanted to play this game. So Kingdomino definitely won me and my family over. I really enjoyed it. But what it's about is all about tile laying and also tile drafting. Now, they've never seen any game like it. They were familiar with dominoes and how to match the sides and such. So when I told them and explained to them that it's sort of like that, however the tile drafting is a little different, it took them like maybe 1 or 2 turns to understand that portion of the game. Very easy to introduce. And another cool thing about this game is that it also kept me interested, and I play a lot of games, so I wasn't necessarily bored playing with them either. And I think it was because I got to play with it so many times with them that I actually learned, like, you know, when is a perfect time to kind of go towards the end of the line and kind of just take my time building something. And also learning, like, maybe I should just be first next round to go ahead and take the better tile next time. So it's a lot of managing the timing, because whenever you're drafting tiles, you're actually figuring out what order you're going to take next time. So it was really interesting to see them interact with a game like this, and also it kept my interest because I can kind of strategize a little bit too. Now, this game right here, Kingdomino, I would really recommend it if you are actually a family gamer. So I would highly recommend Kingdomino. I didn't think I would like it so much, but after playing it and playing it with my family, I feel like this is a game that I'll always have around. So this next game I've been wanting for just the longest time. I first heard about it at Origins, and ever since then, I just thought, like, this is the perfect game for me because it incorporates a lot of strategy and a little bit of math too. It also has all these ways of manipulating these dice that you're rolling. It's beautiful artwork, the dice are pretty, and the components as well. And what you're basically doing is you're playing 3 rounds. Now, each round you're going to roll the dice, and you're going to get a certain set value for those dice. Now, the interesting part is where you get to acquire these different cards that are in the center of the game. And by acquiring those cards, you can multiply, you can get so many different points. But you can screw up your whole system. And what you're trying to do is calibrate or change the value of those dice, or not change them, in order to get the most amount of points. Now, the cards are multi-use cards. You will gain points simply by meeting the criteria of the die values. And also, you can modify those die values by those cards. Another thing too is that those card types are all different. So you can acquire certain types of cards, and then you can multiply them with the multiplier that you've been acquiring when you're acquiring those cards. So there's a lot of layers in this game, and I really love it because it's a really thinky game, but it's only 3 rounds. So before you know it, the game is over. And it just made me want more. And the whole time I was playing it, like, I played it with the 3-player game, and I remember the first time we just all were kind of in awe with it. We all were like, yes, how much we really liked this game and how much we wanted it. And so it ended up being my #1 game this past month. And I have really high regards for this game. It's great, it's really well designed. And I'm really glad that I picked it up, and I'm glad it didn't disappoint either. So definitely, if you are into these strategy games that don't take too much time, but also has a lot of meat involved and some math too, then you should definitely pick up Sentient. Well, thanks for joining me again, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Also, make sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment and such. You can also give back by leaving a tip in the coffee website. So I'll leave a link for all of that down below, as well as at the end of the video. You can always contact me online, and all the links are at the end as well. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!